I didn't do it during the test, but I did it here.
I swear to God, I'm serious. We're putting that sound.
It's gonna be the new opening. Yeah. The new opening is just this. Yeah.
Sweet
Party! That's horrible. Sorry to do that. Yes. Welcome to Midnight Masterminds, where we talk movies and that's it.
And entertainment.
And things that entertain you. Movies entertain me. I'm entertained by myself. So all those things come together to make a really great podcast.
Yeah, real self-centered podcast. I like that.
Yeah.
No narcissism around these parts, friends.
What up?
So you guys may be at home. You may sitting there lounging, drinking a cup of coffee or a brewski, depending on what time it is.
Or maybe an Oliver Palmer.
Or an Arnie Palmy, And you're hanging out and you're thinking, what is on today's agenda? Well, I'll tell you. We're going to do a little bit of trivia, a little bit of quiz. We're going to have some movie news. We got a lot movie news.
Hey-o.
Movie news. And then we're going to talk The Incredibles and Tag.
Woo.
And that's
You're it.
Yeah. Oh.
And
No, we're it for watching it.
Hey-o.
don't forget, I'm KMA.
Yeah.
That's Wyatt.
the silence is Wyatt.
That's
and
Wyatt.
then this is Aaron. Yeah.
Sorry, I blanked out. I'm nervous. I get stage fright.
Yeah.
So we figured in honor of The Incredibles coming out after our 14-year hiatus,
Hey-o.
that before we get into the review portion of the show, we are going to do a little bit of trivia. We're going to see how well we know The Incredibles and how well we know Pixar. Also, you might learn something. Learning's important,
Learning's kind of important.
Learning's really, the more I talk, the higher my voice gets.
That's
Let's
cool.
do the trivia.
Let's learn some things.
Let's learn about the movies.
Okay. First question, and this is for Katime and Wiad,
Yes.
as all the questions will be for. Anyways,
I stay fright.
what is the name of Mr. Incredible's biggest fan?
Buddy.
Incredible.
Okay, so you said Incrediboy and you said Buddy.
Buddy.
Well, there are four answers I'm going to give you.
Oh, is there multiple choice?
It's multiple choice.
Thanks for laying that out.
And I will also say, I probably should have told you that before, but Katie May's answer was not in the multiple choice, so we'll go ahead and give you your second shot.
Suck it.
Buster, Tommy, Buddy, or Bobby.
Buddy.
So 2 for Buddy? That was correct.
Okay, so I have a question about the test.
Yes, the teacher will answer your question.
If two people get the right answer, do we both get a point?
You both don't get slapped in the face.
Ideal. So we
cool.
both survive this round.
Yeah, and I won't be hitting women, so you will be the only person getting slapped in the face. Okay, cool. What does Bon Voyage say in French about Incrediboy's super outfit? It's tragic, it's amateur, it's laughable, or it's ridiculous.
What?
I'm going to go with it's laughable.
I'm going to say, what was the first two?
It's tragic, it's amateur.
I want that one.
You want it's tragic?
Tragic.
Ooh, that sounds like somebody that's running, kind of a fashion organization would say about some
That's what I'm thinking.
outfit. Okay, cool.
I'm thinking that's my route.
So we will see here.
Getting in the character's mind.
And actually, we have a technical problem going on. Nope, you're both wrong.
Oh, shit. No! He got me, gang.
And
I'm
the
bleeding from my
problem is I'm
pores.
trying to find the answer. It's just not giving it to me.
Well, you know what?
And it's ridiculous was the answer. I just found out.
okay.
Okay.
That was my second choice.
Well, it wasn't your first.
You know
That's
what?
true. And that's all that matters. So
You know what?
If you're not first, you're last.
How come we don't slap Katie May?
quoted from the great Ricky Bobby. Dash is called to the school office for skipping school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Putting thumbtacks on his teacher's chair.
Ooh.
Putting a whoopee cushion on his teacher's chair. Or throwing spitballs. And I don't know why you would throw spitballs, but whatever, that's cool.
I think it's
spit.
the tax.
I'm going with thumbtacks.
Thumbtacks?
2 for thumbtacks.
And both correct.
Oh, that's right.
What?
I
One
like
hit
it.
me.
Who sees Bob Parr lift his own car? That rhymed the way I said that. I apologize.
Bob Parr riding his own car.
In his driveway. So who sees Bob Parr lift
Was
his
it a
own
neighbor?
car in his driveway?
Was it a neighbor?
Twins.
Huh?
A kid on a tricycle. A little old lady with her cat. A girl chewing bubble gum.
Bubblegum girl.
Tricycle kid.
Tricycle kid and bubble gum.
Get the flip out of here.
I'm not going to get the flip out of here.
Bubble gum. Bubble gum.
Bubblegum was
Bubble
incorrect, like
gum.
I said.
Bubble gum. Bubble gum.
And
Science has proven that if you chat and you can get a chat going, you can actually change the truth.
Nope, that's not right.
No, you can change the truth.
cite your source. I want you to cite your source.
It's Tricycle Kid.
There's no source. There's no source.
It is
There's no source.
Tricycle Kid is correct.
Thank you.
Because I said there's no source, you don't need to have source.
Interesting. Okay. What is Violet eating on leftover night? Steak, pasta, meatloaf,
These are too specific.
or quiche?
Meatloaf.
Quiche. 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 Quiche.
I think it was
Quiche.
meatloaf, actually. Yeah, it was meatloaf. Katie May won.
Thank you.
Wait, was it Meatloaf the musician?
No, that
Yeah,
was what
Violet
she was eating.
was committing cannibalism.
Yeah, she was
Incredibles.
eating Meatloaf the musician.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Look, I don't write this stuff. I just guess it.
you guessed wrong. So,
Quiche.
we're
Quiche.
transitioning
Quiche.
from
Quiche.
this quiz.
I'm winning in this.
That's
trivia.
true.
I got 4 points.
She gets the 4 puntos. What do you have? I think you got 2 right.
What?
How many questions did you get right?
2?
That's what I thought.
Are we counting this in puntos? What's a punto?
It's a point. All 17 of its films have debuted with cinema score ratings of at least blank, indicating positive receptions with audiences.
80.
No, I'm talking about in letter format.
Oh, cinema score?
Yeah.
A.
A minus. Very close.
Fudge!
But that's pretty impressive. All 17 of
That's
the
amazing.
films.
Pixar, you're so great. You just do great things.
Great job.
Thanks, Pixar.
Awesome. Let's see here.
Another question. Another question.
Please stop chanting.
So check this out, guys. Our quiz failed, and it just
Miserable.
crashed, and now we don't know the answers. So in our travels while researching this quiz, before it failed, we found a lot of Pixar fun facts. So here, have some of those.
Wonderful. So, some of the fun facts we have here. In 1993, Disney almost shut down production of Toy Story because they found Woody to be too much of a sarcastic jerk.
I agree.
You agree that he's a sarcastic jerk?
Yes.
That's interesting. And then they also have some interesting fun facts about Woody. Woody's facial features are slightly based on a talking Casper the Friendly Ghost doll.
What the hell?
Yeah, that Lasseter had as a kid.
Creepy.
Buzz Lightyear's facial features are loosely based after Lasseter.
Himself?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Which I think is
interesting.
kind of interesting. And to be honest, it's kind of like Buzz Lightyear's face is not as expressive as Woody's face. in my opinion.
You're a GD robot, John Lasseter. Creative director of Disney.
Reportedly, and I don't know why these are all Toy Story facts now that I've gotten to. But, reportedly, Tom Hanks was interested in the role of Woody because as a child he always wondered whether his toys came alive when he wasn't looking. So it's kind of like a small soldiers situation.
Tom Hanks, you're lying.
I feel like he was probably scared of it more than he wanted to conquer that fear. Cars, Pixar's most profitable film, has generated $10 billion in just merchandising sales alone.
Wait, what?
I can see that.
Yeah, Cars.
Not including like ticket sales or
No, yeah, just merchandising
Wow.
alone. Cars, which is Pixar's most profitable film,
Yeah.
was just $10 billion in merchandising sales, which is pretty amazing.
I'm sure now they get that just from food from the Cars land.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. That's be a ridiculous amount. With a rating of 39%, Cars 2 has the worst score of any Pixar's film on Rotten Tomatoes.
Boo, Cars 2.
Yeah, so
Just I've only seen it once and I didn't really care about it.
I didn't see Cars 2.
You know what's interesting about Cars 2?
Nothing.
apparently not.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. Lowest rating on Rotten Tomatoes. For Pixar.
Oh, you deserve it.
Ratatouille's Remy has 1,150,070 individual hairs on his body.
Oh God.
That's like
That's
Tangled.
like almost 1,150,069 hairs, but
That's
it's
right.
just one more.
It's just one more. They could have left that hair out and nobody would probably know.
I love Ratatouille.
Rat-tat-too.
Why do you say it like I love Ratatouille at Toy Story.
Interesting.
Rat-tat-too.
And The Incredibles.
Rat-tat-too.
How about WALL-E's name is actually an acronym that stands for Waste Allocation Load Lifter Earth Class. That's mind-blowing because I never figured it would have been that much of a drawn-out acronym.
I'm pretty sure that's written on the side of him, isn't it?
Yeah. No, not on the side of him, but I think you do see it.
It's in the movie somewhere.
Yeah.
WALL-E was one of Pixar's most complex films. It required 125,000 storyboards alone. The previous Pixar films only required, at most, 75,000 storyboards. So
That's still incredible.
That's
insane.
So
many
storyboards.
Yeah.
What?
Because they just have, like, rooms full of them.
Yeah. Where you can just walk in and, like, see the
floor to
story of the
ceiling,
movie.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'd like to, like, really be inside a Pixar movie and see how it gets made because it's just so different than
it's like a whole
else.
nother, like, world.
Yeah.
I feel like it. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, I'll have you guess on this one. In Up, how many balloons do you think were shown lifting Carl's house?
100.
100 balloons.
Yeah.
There's at least that.
I will tell you right now that is wrong. So Kate,
Like 100,000.
no, that is way too much. 20,000.
I didn't bust. I win.
Yeah. Price is wrong.
That's right. I win.
20,622 balloons.
And I said 100.
Yeah, I said 100 balloons.
8.
Yeah, there's at least 8 balloons. Oh man. Actually, here's another one that's interesting. We'll go back to Toy Story since we love that so much.
I love Toy Story.
Toy Story 3 was almost made without Pixar. Disney, which maintained the rights for the characters and its sequels, had a falling out with Pixar over the terms of the third film and proceeded to begin planning the film without them.
Oof.
Which is
Juicy.
yeah, that's some pretty interesting stuff. Who would have ever thought? A Bug's Life is loosely based on Akira Kurosawa's film Seven Samurai.
Wait, A Bug's Life is based on... Oh, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about the plot of that movie...
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's really impressive. And A Bug's Life was... I mean, how long ago was that done, too? That was like one of their big films at an early stage in that.
Yeah. Well, that was fun, right?
Yeah!
Yeah, fun! So, we're going to move on to movie news. There's actually a lot this week. Last week, I really feel like we were stretching to get a movie news segment, but there's a lot to talk about. Namely, a little movie called Wonder Woman, or as in the way Katie May likes to pronounce things, Wonder Woman.
No, I only like to pronounce that for
Rat-tat-tooey.
That's
So
it.
for Wonder Woman, it's called Wonder Woman 1984.
1984!
Now you know. If you didn't know, now you do. If you did know, here's some more stuff.
If you don't know,
Oh,
now
that's
you
right.
know.
I'm hitting you with double Wonder Woman news. They released a picture of Chris Pine on the set, and he is in his full-on Steve Trevor outfit, looking all Steve Trevor-y.
I like it.
In 1984.
But that's alarming for people.
How? Spoilers for Wonder Woman 1. He bites the dust pretty effing hard. So...
What if they're just messing with us and they just hired Chris Pine for like a day and was
Ooh.
like, dress up in this, we'll take a picture and leak it, and we'll get people.
I
to
highly
send.
doubt that, but I like where you're going.
But people were talking about this fact when like they heard about it.
Yeah.
Is Chris Pine's contract is for like 3 Wonder Woman movies or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So people were wondering why would they sign him for that many movies? And
They were
kill him in the
wondering
first
that
one?
how could he be in 3 Wonder Woman movies?
Please don't do that.
Oh, I just did.
Maybe
I can't undo it.
So people have been wondering how that's possible since the first one came out, and now we're seeing the photos. Like, okay, he's definitely in the movie in some capacity. I think he's an imposter. I don't think it's actually Steve Trevor.
Ooh, what
I
if
think
she's
someone's
having
messing
visions?
with. That's what I mean. Someone's either messing with her mind,
Yeah.
or it's the Martian Manhunter, or something like that. That's what I don't think that there's any way for them to bring him back from World War One, in fear of seeming too much like Captain America.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It would be exactly like Captain America.
And that whole plot point is already a big stretch to begin with. That we all just are like, yeah, we'll just forget about the person who was frozen for
Oh, I'm going to
80
be
years.
frozen whenever I die, so I'm expecting it to be real. Oh. Wait.
Oh.
What?
You mean that
What?
can't happen? Well, I guess the reason they can't freeze
Guess I'm
people...
getting cremated.
More fun facts have nothing to do with Pixar. Apparently, if you freeze somebody, when like liquid freezes, it more or less crystallizes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you freeze flesh, it'll crystallize, and it'll, even before it gets unfrozen, it will like just cut your body up. Even though it doesn't move and it looks the same, when it freezes, it crystallized all your muscles, all your tissue, everything. So when you unfreeze, you would just be a mush.
Ew. Okay, next.
Yeah, but actually,
fun fact.
we will have to look into this too, because I think there's like a whole industry of people that like get frozen. Like this is legitimate, like a thing. So if they if they haven't done that research, then that's pretty sad. Anyways,
I mean, I wonder. I learned that from a guy that we all know as Bill Nye the Science Guy.
well, I don't believe it then.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I love Bill Nye.
I know him as just Bill Nye because that's his name. So
And
next,
he's full of fun facts, just like you are right now.
yeah, absolutely.
News.
I got them from him. So fun fact: Chris Hardwick has been pulled from his AMC talk show.
Probably not a fun fact, but that's okay. That's just news.
That's not fun at
Here's
all.
a fact.
Here's a fact. That's a fact.
Here's a sad fact.
Yeah.
And from San Diego Comic-Con. And I call it a sad fact because it's sad if he did what he did.
Yes.
I say if because these days it's hard to know.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's been so many recently that have been true, not true. Hilariously, the one with Morgan Freeman, if you've seen that video, if you don't know what I'm talking about, find out what I'm talking about. If you do know, isn't that hilarious? I know, right? Anyway.
But yeah, he was with his girlfriend, which now he's married, and I believe he has.
You're talking about Chris
different
Hardwick,
children.
right?
Yeah, Chris Hardwick.
Not
Sorry.
Morgan Freeman.
No.
Do you know what happened with Morgan Freeman?
I actually don't.
I don't know either.
Oh, you don't know either? You guys haven't seen this video?
No.
Now I'm going to describe it. It's
Okay.
great. So there's this, he's doing press for a movie. I don't remember which movie. I would have researched this if I knew that I'd be bringing this up. But he's doing a press tour. It's like a press junket. It's for some news outlet. And it's him, two other older, I think it's like Robert De Niro and somebody else. Like just two older actors. They're all old, right?
Was this for like bucket lists or something?
Something like that. And he's sitting in his chair and like he's old. And he also is not being asked a question. So he's just kind of looking around the room. He looks kind of bored. And the two other actors are talking about like a vacation they did. Either they did together or they just did a vacation.
Yeah.
Either way, they're talking about it. And Morgan Freeman just goes, man, I like to have been there. And when he was looking at the reporter. You can tell he just happened to be looking that direction because his head's just kind of like wandering around because he's bored. And he just goes, man, I'd like to be there. And then she was like,
Oh my god.
and she went on the news and said he made sexual advances towards me.
What?
And she's describing it on this news channel. And the news channel, like the people there are like, oh my god, really? Like, Morgan Freeman. She was like, yeah, roll the clip. And then she rolled the clip. And everybody just kind of looked at her, and you could see the look on the person who was interviewing her. Their face was like, "You're an idiot. You're just an idiot."
Now that being said, there are a lot of accusations against him right now, so let's not going to get into that.
I know that particular one
but that one
is a punchline.
Yeah, that's sad.
But anyway,
Yeah,
Chris Hardwick, don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's with a previous girlfriend. It's like talking about more than just like sexual abuse or assault. It's like something that like went on during their whole relationship,
right?
And it sounds pretty intense, and it's horrible if it is true. But that stuff will come out. We'll figure it out and stuff too. So
the big news is that he's been pulled from his AMC show.
Yeah,
they're no longer doing his show. I don't know anything about The Talking Dead. I don't know. It's not mentioned in the article whether or not that's also not going to be done anymore.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, is like, because of him, these types of shows were becoming popular. Like, he did a lot for those shows. So now you get, and it's kind of the same thing when we're talking about with like Roseanne, and now there's gonna be people that don't have jobs because of this potentially. So that's the sad part about it. On top of the fact that it's already sad if this stuff is true. That's the horrible part of it. So yeah.
It's just devastating if it is true. Very devastating. And he's also pulled from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
If you know anything about that, he's one of the big commentators there. He runs a lot of the big panels.
And that is a huge event. Like, Comic-Con in San Diego is like
it's massive.
It's the thing. Yeah.
So anyway, moving on to some, I will call some happy news. Coming off of this sad news, there's going to be a Roseanne spinoff show. Now, I am not a Roseanne fan. I'm not talking about Roseanne the person. I'm talking about Roseanne the show. The reason, and you brought this up just a second ago, that we were, the whole thing with Chad Hardwick or Chris Hardwick, sorry, is especially sad is because a lot of those people are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
So obviously everybody knows that Roseanne got canceled because she's a maniac, and when the show got canceled,
You know, all Trump Twitter fingers.
Yeah, she does. And she, essentially, she ended up costing a bunch of people who are on the show their jobs. Yeah. But now ABC is running full steam ahead on a spin-off show that is centered on another character in like the Roseanne universe. And everybody who's in the show Roseanne, everybody, including John Goodman, are going to be in the show.
Who's like my hero. I love John.
Oh, yeah. So now you can have a show with all those characters that everybody loved, that none of those people have to lose their jobs. They're running ahead with all the same development materials, just without Roseanne. That's cool that they're doing
Yeah, because didn't that reboot like just come out this year?
It was ABC's
and it was like
top-rated show
this
when
big
it came out.
thing, and it's back, and everyone was like,
because
it's back, woo woo, and then she's like, nah, we're done.
nah, I'm gonna finish that real quick.
I'm gonna knock it off.
Yeah, it was huge back in the day. I mean, I remember growing up and having Roseanne around. Not that I watch it all the time, but I did watch it with my family and stuff. And I figured it was going to be huge when it came back. Because like now we're kind of in the era of like let's reboot everything, or that's kind of what people think is that nobody in Hollywood has any original ideas, which is not completely true. But it is kind of sad that everybody has to reboot something. But
you're right, but I think we've also reached a really good balance of shows and TV shows and movies that are being rebooted. And stuff that's original.
Well, yeah, and also you have opportunity, like, with certain people who were at a certain age when they did some stuff, and now they get older, and it's kind of like, you do kind of wonder, what would happen with this character if they were... So it is kind of an original thought in its own idea, but it's still continuing something that was already created. So it's not completely unoriginal to reboot something, in my opinion. Yeah.
Right. So I was just going to say the next reboot should be Parks and Rec.
Ooh. I feel like that will take...
Too soon.
No, yeah, that would be too soon almost.
No, never too soon.
Too soon.
Never too soon.
Let's see Andy ripped.
Everyone's down for it, so.
Really, that only ended like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, something like that.
F it. Let's do it. Let's make a faster reboot.
Thank you.
No, I mean, I think Spider-Man still holds the record for fastest reboot. It's like 2 years after the last one came out. Speaking of reboots, a franchise that I firmly believe will be rebooted one day, just not one day soon, is Harry Potter.
Why would that get rebooted?
Why would that get? I don't know. Money.
I think it depends on.
People will see it.
I mean, obviously they've already had a different storyline now with that whole universe, so I think that depends on how well that does. Maybe it's going to be about money, so it's going to be about.
Well, for sure, I think they're going to do it. And you know what's funny is I watched an old interview with J.K. Rowling and Daniel Radcliffe where they interviewed each other, and they talked about. I think Daniel Radcliffe asked J.K. Rowling the question, what do you think about a lot of the things that get changed from the book to the movie? And she said, I think you have to. It's movies are a different medium. You have to change stuff.
Yeah.
She said, I think if my fans had it their way, they would just do a TV show and it would just be 40 hours of Harry Potter. Who would watch that? And Daniel Radcliffe was like, I feel like a lot of people would watch it.
I would watch that.
Actually, I like that idea of turning it into a TV show instead of a movie.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was picked up by
like
Netflix or HBO.
I mean, Netflix already throws money at everything. That would be
That's what I mean.
Genius of them to do
They
that.
would dump so much money into it.
There's so much source material to go off.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You can do, and it's not like a book a season. You can do half a book for one season.
Hell yeah.
You can start. That's like 14 seasons of TV ready for you.
Yeah.
Like
even
ready
just
for
like
you.
the 7 books.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
7 seasons.
Yeah.
And it actually, it's kind of funny because I think I want to talk about how important casting is. Like the casting in that franchise was obvious. Key. It was key. It was the reason why it was the way it was. But that would be another important thing. Is it's tough now to cast a series like that because if you're gonna have somebody at such a young age, grow old like through seasons and stuff too. Like that's the important part. So if you're gonna do it right and like cast well and do everything like that too.
Oh sure. Don't half-ass. Don't rush it.
Yeah, don't make if you're gonna make it a big production, don't just invest a little bit of money into it. If you're gonna do it right. Like that would be cool to see.
I'd be all about that.
Yeah.
Even if it was worse than the movies, I would still tune in and watch it just to see all the little tiny details from the books laid into it that don't make it in. Like
I don't want it to be like the movies though. Anyways, if you're gonna do it,
give us another perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Like a series of unfortunate events was different than what obviously the original movie was intended to have more movies made for.
Oh, right. It definitely framed that way.
Yeah, but when you read the books, it's different than when you watch a series or when you watch. Yeah,
for sure. It's just another interpretation of the same story, and I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
I think that's the only. But Harry Potter is in the news this week because Warner Brothers is cracking down on anybody who is participating or running a Harry Potter festival. Interesting. So they sent out notices to a lot of different people recently over, basically copyright and trademark use of Harry Potter stuff at these festivals. And the reason it's coming out now, it seems, is that when all these festivals started, they were small little gatherings, people who liked Harry Potter in their towns. Like one of them's in Ithaca, New York, one's in Philadelphia, the big one's in Philadelphia. And before, they would just sell their Harry Potter merchandise, and people would come into the Harry Potter titled the Harry Potter Festival, and you can come dressed as your favorite character. You can play Quidditch. You can attend a Defense Against the Dark Arts class.
It was small, a couple hundred.
Yeah, small. And now that the franchise has an amazing amount of longevity, and they're still making new material for it. Obviously, there's a new Fantastic Beasts movie coming out in November. Warner Brothers has laid the hammer down on all of these festivals. So now, all these festivals, they cannot use Harry Potter trademarks or logos anymore, and the story goes that all these people who run the festival and who have been going to the festival have been tweeting at J.K. Rowling, hey, do something about this. We know you work at Warner Brothers now because she is the official screenwriter for the Fantastic Beasts movie, so she works there.
Yeah.
So they're saying, hey, we know you have an in at Warner Brothers. Please fix this. And her publicist and all that are saying she's not giving any comment. But in my opinion, I don't think that they should have, or she should have to. I mean, it's a trademarked thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's multiple different ways to look at something
I'm just surprised that this has gone on for as long as it has.
I think it's different when it's a couple hundred to now it's 20,000 people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you have a small gathering with your friends and you want to have something like that's if somebody...
Yeah, man, let's go play Quidditch tomorrow.
And then Warner Brothers comes out to the field and says, no, you can't play Quidditch. We own Quidditch.
They would do that. But now, you have 20,000 people, 40,000 people, making money off of your thing.
Yeah.
Last year, Philly had 45,000 people attend this festival that crazy. Warner Brothers is not involved in.
Yeah.
So imagine the money that they lost out on.
Well, that's another way of looking at it, too, is how about, you have every right to do that, but then, wait, there's a ton of people that love this franchise. Why not capitalize on the opportunity where you could also say, oh, man, these guys put in a lot of hard work, and over the years, now they have this many people coming there. Well, let's sponsor it. Let's help you out, and now you're going to have so much more money come in. Yeah, that would be great.
Just send them an email saying, hey, we noticed your festival. Mm-hmm. We are going to sponsor you now.
Yeah.
And then I'm just imagining the head of this organization just be like, well, we don't need sponsorship. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
And then Warner Brothers just responding, well, you're, shut down now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm kind of on the side of Warner Brothers, though.
I
understand.
I don't think I disagree with you.
But what all these people are doing to try and still put on their festivals that they already had planned is they are changing all of the Harry Potter themed stuff and the names of the festivals to just generic, celebrate magic.
Yeah.
So where are you going? I'm going to the Magic Festival downtown today.
That's fine, because people are still going to go and people are still going to have fun.
Yeah, you can still go dressed up as your favorite characters. You can still go to, Defense Against the Dark Magic class. But it's doesn't have the ring to it.
It was going to be Harry Potter, now you're going to see David Blaine there.
Yeah, David. My name is Harry...
Blaine.
Potter.
Lauder.
Oh, man. So... I just think that's kind of a funny story. I think it's funny because it went on for so long.
That's crazy.
It ended in 2012. The last movie came out.
Wow.
So that's just nuts to me. For sure. That it went on for this long.
I think Warner Brothers was very generous with how long they let, because it's been going on before 2012.
Or they weren't aware of it until now, maybe, or something like that. Yeah.
Because it gained so much popularity.
I think it'd just be easy for them to just send one or two Warner Brothers representatives to work with the people who run these festivals and go, hey, we're going to sponsor you. Here's some Harry Potter swag. Here's a banner. It's all Warner Brothers approved. You can sell it. We'll work together. So that way people don't get upset.
You could sell your wands there. How much are those
Warner Brothers, I'm speaking directly to you now, Warner Brothers. I'm pointing at the mic.
Yeah, because they're listening.
No, they're listening.
Everyone's listening.
You're missing out on a group of people who gathered 45,000 people and you didn't have to do shit.
Yeah.
Just work with them.
Yeah, seriously.
Whatever.
And, that might happen.
Well, maybe. How about this? Next year, they're gonna have their own sponsor.
Oh no!
That would be hilarious.
That'd be so messed up.
And other people also do bar crawls across the country for it as well.
Yeah, one of those was listed on there as also being shut down.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not just talking about 1 or 2 festivals. I'm talking about like numerous
Anything.
festivals.
Wow. Yeah.
That they found. If they found out that you have a Harry Potter themed thing.
Well, they should just do a text loop saying, "Hey, I'm going to meet you at this bar," and then you show up and wear whatever you want, and you can't do a damn thing about it.
Yeah. But it's like those, you see those Facebook ads for like the 90s bar crawl? Yeah, it was like that, but Harry Potter.
That's crazy.
I do a Harry Potter bar crawl. What do you have to do to participate in a Harry Potter bar crawl?
You just pay money, and then, although I've heard like horror stories from some. Not horror stories, but like, they were totally ripped off. Like, they got like a little wooden skewer as their wand and like a tiny plastic cup, and like the specials weren't great.
Like it was just like a stir for the drink.
Yeah.
That's messed
like,
up.
There was one where like they totally did not plan on all these people coming. All these people showed up and they're like, wow. And like people waited in line for almost the entirety of the crawl, and
that's crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Maybe Warner Brothers should be more involved with all these things, because I feel like they would organize them
much
very
better.
well.
Yeah.
Disgracing the name of Harry Potter and alcoholism. God damn it.
Sounds like a good book. Harry Potter and alcoholism.
But that really did happen.
Interesting. Well,
with Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh God! Don't bring that up. That's so dark.
That's what he said. Harry Potter and alcoholism. That was a real thing.
Daniel Radcliffe is not Harry Potter. You know that, right? You know they're different people.
One's not even real.
I'll tell you what he is.
Different people.
Do you want me to tell you what he is?
What's that?
Starts with an A.
No! Stop it!
Next.
A wonderful actor is what I was going to say.
Yes, he is.
Oh, yes, of course.
I would agree.
Hey, I actually enjoy the tortured artist more than I do just a normal put together person.
Just saw the movie Jungle. Fine. He was in it. It was wonderful. We're moving on now. Next. John Travolta.
Hey-o.
Scientology extraordinaire. John Travolta has just released a movie called Gotti, and it holds the honor of 0% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Honor.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah. You didn't know that before you watched it? Yeah. This movie is getting raked over the coals, and it has a 0%.
Oh my god.
There's a list of movies with 0% Rotten Tomatoes.
The Gotti family was also involved, and the woman who played his wife actually wore the actual wedding ring.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's too bad the attention to detail is going to nothing.
She was on The View, and I watched The View on lunch the other day.
Look, I haven't seen the movie, and I think, before we give any opinions on it, we should definitely see it. But it's not doing well. It has 0%.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, actually.
What other movies does this join ranks with now that it's at 0%?
There's a lot.
What other winners do they... What's the winner's circle for 0%?
I'll list some of them.
List some 0% winner circles.
Staying Alive, Jaws: The Revenge,
Whoa.
Police Academy 4.
Hey, that's mean.
The Citizens on Patrol, Highlander 2, Legend of the Blue Lagoon.
Nice.
Wagons East, Three Strikes, Derailed, Killing Me Softly, which I think is different than a movie I'm thinking of.
Killing Them Softly?
Yeah. Which I love that movie. Pinocchio.
Pinocchio? What?
Now I think there's like a 2002 version of Pinocchio.
Oh, you're gonna be
okay.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's a Disneyland ride.
A classic Disney movie.
That would be hilarious,
0%.
actually.
Yeah, 0%.
Beauty and the Beast, 0%.
The new one, I understand.
Yeah.
Speaking of new Disney movies, while we're on the subject, you guys see the Dumbo trailer?
No.
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 Is
You guys
Dumbo
haven't
your
seen it?
favorite?
Well, no, and on the very first episode, on the very, very first, old-timey episode of Midnight Masterminds, we talked to old-timey episode.
Old-timey from the
back in the good old days.
We talked about Dumbo being made, and the trailer came out just this week. So if you ask me, it looks horrible, and I don't want to see it. But
nobody asked you.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm going to ask you right now. Are you going to see this movie?
It looks horrible, and
Are
I
you
don't
going
want
to see this movie?
No! I probably will see it, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's like our thing.
Yeah.
Like we see movies.
Sponsored by Movie Pass. Just kidding, we're not, but I would like to be.
Well, shout out to Movie Pass.
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Oh, yeah. Please do that.
Yes,
so,
please.
yeah, I'd appreciate that. Should we move on to reviews?
Yeah! I'm excited about it.
So, this week we are reviewing 2 movies. We're not reviewing Gotti because we looked at our time frame and we thought, we could see Tag, Incredibles 2, and Gotti, or we could not see Gotti, and that would save us a lot of time, and we did that. So we're just reviewing Tag and Incredibles 2.
Correcto mundo.
So we're going to start with Tag. I'm going to pass the ball over to Aaron. He's going to tell us a little bit about TAG.
Okay. So Tag is about a small group of former classmates who organized a game of tag that they would do every year. And it kind of brings them to travel across the country because now they've grown apart and they continue this game of tag until their adulthood.
Yeah, just in the month of May.
Yeah, just in the month of May.
And they have all these rules that they have to follow.
Exactly, and they've been doing it for like 30 years because they started when they were like 9 years old. It actually has a ridiculous cast if you think about it for the type of comedy that it is. So it's starring Jeremy Renner, John Hamm, Hannibal Buress, Ed Helms, Isla Fisher, Jake Johnson, Annabelle Wallace. They also have people like Laurel Howery, Rashida Jones, Leslie Bibb, Steve Berg. So there's a big cast for this film.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very well done. Directed by Jeff Tomzik, who actually, he's done a lot of different directing, mainly television. He has 28 directing credits.
What TV shows does he direct?
He's directed a couple different things. The most kind of notoriety he's ever gotten was actually for a short that he did. I'm Having a Difficult Time Killing My Parents, which is a short that he did... and
lovely.
He actually won an award at the New Hampshire Film Festival in 2011 for that, for Best Comedy Short, and then was submitted and nominated into Sundance for a short as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Well, that's all you got to do, guys. You get to hang out with John Hamm, just make a comedy short film.
Exactly.
That's all you got to do.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And then there was also two writers. It was actually co-written. Rob McKittrick, which was best known for writing and directing the 2005 comedy Waiting, which actually was a pretty decent.
I enjoyed
success.
that movie.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds and everything.
I saw it on Comedy Central.
And
I still watch TV.
Yeah, I like that for sure. And then Mark Stylen was also the other writer on there. He's also a producer of this movie as well too. I thought when it comes down to it, what that kind of served its purpose for me. Like I knew coming into this wasn't going to be something I was going to be watching during the Oscars, hoping that it was going to get nominated. It was something. Yeah, it was a fun-loving comedy. It served its purpose. It was enjoyable. Actually, very well done in my opinion.
Yeah.
And based on a true story, kind of makes it cool. But it did well.
And I think with the angle that they took with it being about a game of tag, which is hilarious as well, that is based on a true story. I mean, the whole thing obviously is a work of fiction, but they're inspired by an actual group of friends that did this. Is that you can manufacture tension at almost any moment because they take it to such an extreme level in the movie where you can be doing things like faking an injury or or doing these mind game tactics. So in a normal comedy where somebody's faking out something, you can usually smell it from a mile away, but here you don't know. Like it actually creates real suspense in a comedy movie when someone's like, oh man, I got hurt. And you're just like, oh, well, does that guy actually need help? Or is he about to tag someone and is he faking it? You don't know.
Yeah.
It makes it really, really fun. I think this movie was way more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and how they handled Jeremy Renner's character, like they would tell you the thoughts in his mind and how he was going to approach. Like
that was awesome.
He was such a superior player. The whole idea of this is that Jeremy Renner's character was never tagged.
Never been tagged.
And so they're trying to get him, obviously before their time runs up. And that's kind of the main thing is this guy's like the best tag player you've ever seen, and the way they handled it was really cool. But the cool fun fact about, you're talking about like faking injuries and stuff, on the second day of shooting, he was supposed to do a stunt where he was going to be pretty much riding a set of chairs that were 20 feet up all the way down. It was going to make it seem like he was just like surfing down them.
Oh, at the AA meeting thing.
Yes, exactly. So they're filming this on the second day, and he's doing this stunt. And a hinge broke on these, and instead of the chairs falling, just Jeremy Renner fell 20 feet.
Oh no!
So he fell, landed, and he's like, "Ow, that hurt. Whatever. Let's do it again." Just goes up, and the same thing happens again.
Oh no!
Yeah. So then he's going through the day, and he gets back to his trailer, films the whole rest of the day, gets back to his trailer, said, "My arms are kind of swelling up. I think I probably should go to the hospital." Goes to the hospital, finds out he broke both of his arms.
Both of them?
Both of his arms.
Oh my
which,
god!
Delayed production a little bit. But the dude's a freaking trooper, so he went through the whole production. I couldn't even tell they had 2 broken arms while filming this whole movie.
The whole movie, he had 2 broken arms?
And the second day, he breaks his arms and he films the rest of the movie with broken arms.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dude, he's like throwing punches and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Exactly, and moving. And honestly, because I was aware of this going into it, so I'm watching it knowing that he did this, and I'm like, the movement that he still had was impressive. Like, this dude's... He's a badass.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
How do you throw your arms around like that when they're broken?
Yeah. Yep.
So what, did you have someone on set who like takes his cast off and stuff?
No, he didn't. Like, he didn't.
Wait, what? Don't tell me he didn't have cast.
It was more towards actually towards the shoulder too.
Okay.
So it's even crazier because he was actually
he's like moving his shoulders around a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, he had 2 broken arms and
way to go.
I don't know if he had cast or anything like that too. But I mean,
well, I'm sure a lot his like stunt doubles did a lot of work here.
Yeah,
but still impressive.
Apparently, he likes to do a lot of his own stunts too. I'm
sure with 2 broken arms, he might take a seat or 2.
But exactly. But they were saying that the rest of the cast all said that like they couldn't even tell that he had broken his arms, like the way he was still acting through it. It's like, wow, that's impressive. That's kind of cool that they were all like,
that's nuts
around him. Yeah.
I think it's crazy too that he goes through the whole second day and doesn't know. And he goes back to his trailer like, this hurts a bit.
Yeah, it sounds like a Stallone story. That would happen. Like, oh, I broke my face.
What a maniac.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say overall, I love this movie.
Yeah,
I want to see it again. It had a surprising amount of heart.
Yeah,
and it's I don't know. I think it's not only the best comedy I've seen this year. It's
the
one
comedy
of my
we've been waiting for.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite movies this year. Just one of my I'm not saying it's one
just
of the,
enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's one of the best movies that's been made this year. I'm just saying it's one that to me I enjoyed watching it the most for sure.
And it has great Katie Mae pacing. So
Katie Mae pacing approved.
Katie Mae pacing approved.
Absolutely.
It's good. There's not a dull moment. I mean, everything it is at play here. I think this movie has a better script than people are going to probably give it credit for because it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Everything's very well balanced.
And I actually like the dynamic of the characters that they like, the people that they cast for that. Like, they're not all typical comedy people. Like, John Hamm's done a lot of comedy now. Yeah. To this point.
Lately, he's done like Keeping Up with the Joneses or something like that. Or
he's done. Yeah, he's done a lot.
He's done some comedies very recently.
And like, I don't know. I kind of like his character, like in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt too. Like, he's kind of funny in there. But like him in here,
I love
like,
him in 30 Rock. Where he
oh
just
my
plays
God.
a moron.
Yeah,
I love that.
But that's the thing about John Hamm. You gotta love this guy because he like takes himself seriously in his work that he does, but he also knows how to like kind of cut loose and have fun.
Oh, for sure.
And then you get somebody like Jeremy Renner, who has done comedic bits here and there, but he's a serious actor.
He's usually like
drama.
either action or drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But it was great. It was hilarious.
And
played
honestly,
his role perfectly.
Yeah, and I think either they knew they were going to get Jeremy Renner or they picked the perfect dude for this role because. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but really he's putting up a front. The way that he behaves and the way that he acts.
Yeah.
And I spoilers, I brought up briefly that they were at an AA meeting. It's his AA meeting.
Yeah.
So you learn that when he's not even on screen.
Yeah.
So you kind of start to sit there and think like, oh, is he kind of acting that way? And like that maybe alcohol became a crutch and he's kind of separated from the friends group.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really have to pull a lot of weight. All of that is done through the writing. The way what I mean by that is, a lot of times,
the story's told.
Yeah, the way the story's told, you learn that about him, and then you kind of put it together yourself, and then it just makes his character that much more interesting, even though he's still just acting like Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, but it also kind of is like the character to me was built like, okay, who would be the James Bond of tag?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like perfect casting for that because it's like this dude has been a badass and everything he does, sure. And it's like the physicality of his character. Which obviously he broke 2 freaking arms on there doing what he had to do, so you can imagine how his character had to do so many crazy, things. But it was perfect. And then you get somebody like Ed Helms, who has done so well with comedy, but he's done. I mean, just a great dynamic group.
When Ed Helms first came out, I didn't like him very much.
Ooh.
Really?
Like when he first became popular, He was popularized really around The Hangover.
Yeah, but he had already been doing The Office too.
Yeah, he had already been doing The Office, but he really hit stardom at The Hangover. And man, I don't know what it was.
Didn't like that character?
I didn't find him all that funny. But I would say recently he's become one of the more funnier people to meet. Period. Yeah. I don't know where the transition happened. I don't know the way my brain works. Okay. Yeah. I just know that when he first became like in the spotlight, I was like, I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
But recently, he was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Excellent.
I loved Isla Fisher too.
Oh yeah.
Oh dude, we were talking about.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she was so good.
Can we talk about something? This is a real question.
Real talk.
Is it Isla Fisher or Ela Fisher?
I believe. Well, I don't know. We probably should look up the pronunciation of that.
Someone tell me.
I'll look it up because that is important that we respect people's names and how they're pronounced.
Oh, I just don't know at this point. I've wondered for a long time. Today, Katie May asked me, and I said Ela, and you said Isla, and I was like, is it? Was I wrong? Was I the moron? Or is it Aaron?
Or is it Aaron? I like it.
Is she like gonna walk in the door or something?
Hi, I'm Isla Fisher.
Isla. We're both wrong.
We're both wrong. And I forgot that she had an accent.
She was excellent in the movie.
Perfect. Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher.
It is official.
Wow, I just learned some stuff. Well, that's great.
Great. We learned stuff.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Anyways.
Tags.
You're it.
Oh.
Tag, you're it to go see it.
Yeah, exactly. Why you're laughing like the gingerbread man in Shrek, but that's fine.
Not my gingerbread buttons! Gumdrop buttons. Whatever.
That's fine. That works.
Fuck it.
We don't want to get sued.
Talking about festivals, I heard there's a Shrek Fest.
Oh.
Get out of here. What?
A Shrek Fest.
You can go to a Shrek Fest?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Where?
I don't know where it is. I just saw it while
Just
I was
go to a
scrolling
Renaissance fair,
Like
and you're pretty much there.
Ooh, continue to rhyme. We'll have a song.
Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa!
Next.
Next is we're gonna review the movie you all came for, the one you care about,
Yeah.
the one we're talking about.
Rat Tattooey?
Is The Incredibles 2.
Rat-tattooey.
Nope. No. So The Incredibles 2. Here is the synopsis.
What?
What is?
I think a Russian man just walked into the room.
I'm not gonna.
Dad?
I'm trying. Dad?
Dad?
I'm not gonna give away very many spoilers. If you find plot details at all somewhat spoilery, don't watch the trailer because I'm pretty much just sticking to that. It picks up only like seconds after the first Incredibles ends, and they're fighting off the Underminer.
Dun dun dun.
And they stop the Underminer from destroying, a large part of the city and destroying City Hall. And the city itself becomes upset that they superheroed out because they're not supposed to do that. It's still illegal. So they ask us some very valid questions. They say, well, did you stop the Underminer from stealing the money because he was robbing a bank? And they're like, well, no. It's like, well, did you stop him from doing any property damage or anything? No. Did you, I don't know, catch him? And they're like, no. It's like, well, then you didn't save anything. So you just help him break the law. And they're like, that's a good point.
Except if you saw the trailer, Dash saves an old woman, so...
But the point... the point that the city was making is that if you hadn't got involved, the Underminer wouldn't have crashed his way through the city trying to escape from you. Because that's what happens. If no one had gotten involved, nobody would have been in danger at all. He just would have stolen money.
So it's like what a bank tells its employees, like, just give them the bag.
Well, that's what they say. They said if you guys hadn't been here, he wouldn't have tried to run away from you. Uh-huh. All we would have had to do was fix the bank and replace the money, which is insured. So you didn't save anything. You just caused a bunch of property damage and put people in danger, which you did save, but you put them in danger. That's their point.
So that's what you learn from this. That's what you learn.
That's what you learn. But anyway, so that's just the setup. So they again go into hiding, and while they're in hiding, the character played by Bob Odenkirk, Winston Dever, approaches them and wants them to basically be the figureheads of this movement to legalize superheroes again. And he has this very tragic backstory where he talks about, his parents were very involved with superheroes and superheroics in their heyday. And, they had a direct line to the superheroes. And when they were, their house was broken into, his dad tried to call out to a superhero that he had a direct line with that he was good friends with. And because it's illegal, he didn't respond and his parents got killed. And his sister's played by Catherine Keener and Evelyn. So they basically are the two people who are the head of this big organization who are trying to, for their own personal reasons, make the superheroes legal again. So they assemble a team of other superheroes, such as like Void. There's like a Birdman. Who's the Birdman?
I don't know.
I don't remember what he did.
Michael Keaton.
There's an old dude who like vomits like acidic vomit at people. It's crazy.
Is that Birdman?
Basically, they want to brighten the public image of superheroes, so they assemble a lot of people together. Elastigirl kind of takes the center stage, and because they think she's going to have more public appeal, and Mr. Incredible is sort of relegated to a stay-at-home dad role. And you got a lot of fun stuff with him trying to take care of Jack Jack, which is honestly, I think the best part of the movie.
I agree.
Because he's dealing with Jack Jack's new powers, which we have a whole list. There's 17?
Yeah, which we saw at the end of Incredibles.
Yeah, but you get to see them all in action here, which is awesome. So as the movie's going on, the kids kind of feel like they're not as involved. And by the end, they discover, towards the middle end, they discover the new villain, the Screen Slayer.
Ooh.
And it's sort of up to the kids and the family to save the day. And I won't tell you how. But that's it.
You can go see it. You
can go see it. This one is directed by the guy who did the first one, Mr. Brad Bird, known for, more famously, I think, for obviously the first Incredibles, but also the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
His live action work was Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol.
Ew.
Which I would say is probably my favorite. It's a great one.
Yeah, I do like that one a lot.
And everybody's back to their original roles. I mean, you have Craig T. Nelson as Bob Parr, Mr. Incredible. You have Holly Hunter as Elastigirl. And then you have Dash is played by, his name is Huck.
Wait, hold on.
The kid's name is Huck. I don't know.
Does he have a last name, or is he like
Milner?
Yeah, just Huck.
I just wanted everyone to know his name is Huck.
Y'all see that movie with Huck?
And then Violet's played by Sarah Vowell. And then I obviously told you Catherine Keener is, one of the two people. Bob Odenkirk is playing someone who looks dashingly also like Bob Odenkirk in animated form. And then you have Samuel L. Jackson is playing Frozone. And I still love that Brad Bird plays Edna, who does the suits and whatnot, which is great. So,
sweet.
I thought it was great.
I loved it. Also has great Katie May pacing.
It has great Katie May pacing.
Another Katie May approved pacing movie.
So I think that this movie, because it's animated, you get a lot more diverse and interesting action sequences because there's no limitations. There's absolutely zero limitations. And I know with the way CGI and how movies are these days, even in live action, there's really still no limitations. But
it's different in animation.
But in animation, there's just so much more you can do with so much less money, so to speak.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One person can create a whole, world.
Yeah. I mean, the action sequences here are absolutely incredible. Haha, pun intended.
Hey-o.
Brad Bird is doing what he does best, which is just telling an engaging story through the action. His directing, the only thing I will say, and someone else pointed out in a different review I heard, I don't remember where, so I'm not going to cite it.
Cite your source.
Because I can't do it. But his thing is usually theme, and the only thing I'll say is there's not a huge theme here, at least not one that's super different from the first one.
Yeah.
This is really just a continuation, I think, of the first one.
Which I'm okay with.
My big criticism of the movie, if I were to have a big criticism, is that in the first one, which I am going to go on a limb and say I like the first one better. The only reason I'll say that is the first one had a lot more emotional weight. Because the movie's 14 years old, I don't feel bad in spoiling it. But you've
had time to see it.
You've had time.
If you're upset about getting spoiled about the first, go yourself.
Go see it.
Go see it.
Basically, the childhood biggest fan of Mr. Incredible ends up being the villain of the movie. There's a lot of emotional payoff to that. Where Mr. Incredible created his greatest enemy, that is huge.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of emotional investment here with that one. It comes more in part of the villain, which I can't talk too much about because it'll ruin it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the emotional investment comes from the villain's point of view, which is fine, but I think it would be better if... I think the villain setup that they had in the first one, just, I don't know.
A little more creative or original, maybe.
A little more creative, a little more original. This one just seemed a little more... I mean, how many villains have you seen that hypnotize people? I've seen it a lot.
I liked it, though.
It's not... I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying
Yeah.
a movie that has, to me, a pretty weak villain, still doing as well as it did, kind of talks almost to the... sort of the same tune or walks the same line that Guardians of the Galaxy does.
Yeah.
Where you have what most people consider to be the worst Marvel villain in Ronan the Accuser, but is still considered one of the best movies because they do the hero part so well. And that's the same thing here. Watching Mr. Incredible try and handle his pretty much omnipowered son just is hilarious and great, and that sort of storytelling and world building is.
I think that's kind of a good theme too, though, because it seems like there's a lot of underlying themes no matter what. But kind of just that concept in general of somebody powerful now being kind of humbled and having to be put in that role.
Yeah.
It's kind of I think it's good timing for that too, with what's going on.
Yeah, and I think it fits sort of the narrative, like the beginning of the story sets up in the first part where they say, if you really hadn't been involved, this wouldn't have been a huge issue. So I think if it were to have a theme, it would probably be more...
Don't get involved.
It would probably be more think more strategically about things and be a little more sensible.
Yeah.
So when they're talking, the reason I'm saying be more sensible, if they hadn't gotten involved with the Underminer, they had just called the cops, everything would have been fine, and the result would have been the same, minus $100 million worth of damage.
Which is funny. Because you think about a follow-up, because you saying that you like the first one better is probably...
Only from a villain perspective.
Yeah, but that's probably going to be very common with most people. Most that movie was original, and it was its own... It's hard to follow up a movie like that. So the fact that you didn't like it as much doesn't mean that it's a bad movie at all, obviously.
No. The fact that this movie is one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen...
Yeah.
And... I'm only comparing it to that movie because it's a direct sequel to it.
But it's funny, what you just said completely undermines the whole idea of the first movie, saying that, if they would have just, called the cops, it would have been done.
Yeah.
Like, there would be no point to make that movie.
Yeah.
But that's still, the first movie was still better, in a sense, which is
for
cool.
sure.
Or at least from your, perspective and everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think that sort of mentality carries into the rest of it, where Mr. Incredible's all gung-ho about, I want to go out there, I want to be a part of the campaign to bring heroes back, and I want to fight crime, and basically the world kind of tells him, this is where you sit down and take care of your kids.
Yeah, this is your place.
Yeah, so the whole kind of thing is like, know your place and how you fit into it. So there's a lot of themes, and it's kind of messy.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I loved it.
Want some more of it?
I would see The Incredibles and I would see Tag again. They're both excellent films.
They're rewatchers.
But I would before we start to close it out, unless we have more commentary on The Incredibles, I want to talk about all of Jack's powers, because there's a lot of them and they're awesome.
I like it.
So in the movie, he is demonstrating as being a demon flame baby, so he can turn into like a little demon and be on fire.
Which
he
sounds
can
like
turn
a common
into,
baby power.
Oh, for sure, for sure. He can turn into just a regular demon baby. He can go full metal. He has laser eyes that have different varieties, so you can do a constant stream of laser beams. Mm. They can do like fire, where they hold the baby and go pew pew pew, and they shoot the baby.
Cyclops who?
He can kind of float. I'm sure it'll translate in like his adolescent years to actual flying, but for now he doesn't know how to control it, so he's just floating. Teleportation, and he uses interdimensional like travel to achieve it. Yeah. There's also, he can create an interdimensional wormhole and travel through that, but also bring things through the wormhole. Yeah. He can walk through matter, so he can just phase through things, which is amazing. He has telekinesis, so he can control things with his brain. So this one's described as piecemeal shape-shifting, so he can morph specific body parts to resemble other ones. Yeah. Rocket propulsion sneezes. He can duplicate. Now, I don't know if the copies of himself are tangible, but if they are, then he's effectively just cloning himself.
Wow.
And rapid expansion, so he can just turn into a big old baby.
It's amazing.
It is quite amazing.
He's my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah, what makes it so interesting and so cool is that as a baby, he can't control how powerful he is. Mm-hmm. So you have this superpowered family constantly trying to make sure that this baby doesn't leave this dimension because he doesn't know how to use his powers. So trying to also keep quiet that their whole family is superheroes, but it's really hard to do that when you have lasers shooting out of the front window every night.
That actually kind of makes me feel like it's kind of funny, like the everyday family, like what they have to deal with. You talk about somebody who has to be humbled and realize their real role now is to raise a child. Yeah. And you get a child which every parent wants to think that their child's the greatest, and how do they manage that? How do, you trying to stop this child from doing, you want this child to do what you want, not what it wants. And that's kind of relates to real life, which is pretty awesome that you can relate something like this to real life and have these kinds of deeper themes. And
they try, it's a big moment when Mr. Incredible kind of realizes, I cannot do this. Because he doesn't know that the Jack has powers. Nobody does. Yeah. At the end of The Incredibles, you get to see it, like the first Incredibles. Mm-hmm. But at the...
Only the babysitter knew.
Yeah, no one else knew but the babysitter. So at the beginning of this movie, the audience knows that Jack is crazy powerful. Yeah. But the Incredibles, the family, the Parr family, they don't know. So when this movie starts and Elastigirl goes on her mission, Mr. Incredible's like, what the hell? And so he's trying to fix this, and he takes the baby Jack to Edna. It's like, please get me a suit that will help me contain this a little bit.
Yeah.
And basically the best you can come up with, because he's so powerful, is just creating something that can detect when he's about to have an outburst. So it's almost like a baby monitor where you could be sitting down watching TV and you just hear beep, beep, beep. It's like, whoa, what's going to happen? It's like you have to run into the other room and like just wait for him to like, I don't know, explode.
Yeah, but do you think that they chose to do that way because like in real life, you can't control your kids?
Yeah.
So I can't. There's nothing. I and every parent feels like, oh, I want. What can I do? Yeah. Can I, look at their social media? Can I do with that? So it's kind of funny that they do it that way.
Well, the theme in that whole, and I'm sure I'm not spoiling too much because it's probably the more cliche part of the movie, is, dad who was working in the insurance field for however many years now has to be a stay-at-home dad. Finally realizing how hard it is to be a stay-at-home parent when you have a teenager and then you also have like a preteen in the house. Yeah. So at first it's just that. And so it's humbling for him to be like, man, this is way more complicated than I gave it credit for. And like he's trying to make things right with Violet and her boyfriend and help Dash with his homework. And this is all stuff in the trailer. But how I think the screenwriters and Brad Bird wanted to take that to like the superhero level is, okay, how would a superhero family have at-home problems? Oh, a superpowered baby. Yeah. So I think it's more just adding on to the themes of, let's not only are we a parent, we're going to remember this is a superhero movie, so here's
but it's still relatable, too, which is what makes it so great. So that's
it's
awesome.
Really smart.
Yeah, that's great filmmaking. That's honestly, that's great storytelling in general.
And it's just hilarious. The bit, I'm not going to ruin anything, but the bit with the raccoon is the funniest thing in the whole movie.
Yep.
It's the funniest thing in the whole movie.
Yep, it's just an all-around great movie.
It's a good old time.
It's a good time. Go see it.
Go see it.
Likes it. Promoted.
And no.
Okay, bye.
You're all a little bit smarter when it comes to Disney, Pixar, and The Incredibles. We talked about Tag. We did some trivia. Mm-hmm. We talked about movie news.
A good ass time.
Only thing I have to say now is make sure that you share this, you like it, you subscribe to it, you follow it.
Yeah, keep listening.
Go on Screenplay, look at all those things. Katie May's new show came out last week called Visual Cooking. There will be another episode next week. This upcoming week, we're going to have episode 2 of my show, The Inventor, that I direct and write.
Definitely watch both those. Very enjoyable.
Do that.
Absolutely.
And when you subscribe to it, you also share it, and then you like it, and you bell icon it, and then you tell your friends at work about it, and then you tell your mom about it, and then you call your dad, even though you haven't called him in like a month and a half, and you tell him about it.
Father's Day is here.
Actually, that is today. It's tomorrow.
Yep. So call your dad anyways. And while you're talking to him, tell him about all this fun stuff we got going
on Monday. Yeah. So technically, Father's Day was yesterday.
Yeah.
Look, so Father's Day is yesterday. We all know you forgot to call him. So give him a call, give him a ring.
Say, hey, Papa.
Hey, Puppy. We don't bond anymore, but you can bond over this show, the Midnight Masterminds, and this channel they're on called Screenplay.
Yep.
And this other show that's on there called The Inventor, and this other show that's on there called Visual Cooking. You can bond over these, Dad.
Yep. Make the family stronger.
All of us.
We're bringing you together.
The social medias.
Yes, we're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. My name is Wyatt.
My name is Aaron.
My name is Katie May. We're introducing ourselves again?
No, I was going to say, my name is Wyatt. I am personally also on Instagram.
Oh.
You can follow that.
Oh, you said a weird gap, so I just put my name in.
It's at the Wymo. That's my personal Instagram. You can go see me. I'm on a jet ski in my photos, so there you go.
Yeah, I think that's all we have for you.
I thought we were introducing ourselves.
I've been Wyatt.
It's a closing thing. Like, hey, this has been Wyatt. This is Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
I was just, whatever.
But you took such a weird pause.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I guess I
I forgot my Instagram handle for a second.
Oh.
I was trying to remember it.
Okay, cool.
This has been great, guys. We've been having fun. Have a good evening.
Happy listening.